Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining this class this very morning. Today's topic is going to be about decision making. So we're going to be learning new words in English whilst we learn about the topic about what decision making is and the importance of it. So I'm going to just quickly show you what we've got ready to go. So can you all see my screen there? Okay, so decision making. I'm just going to move to the next slide. So decision making, what's the definition of decision making? Does anyone want to have a go at reading that to the class? So define, anyone want to try and read? Yes, please.
The action or process of making important decisions.
Yep, perfect. Keep going if you can, please.
Decision making is the process of making choices by identifying or finding out a decision, collecting, gathering information, and determining, assessing alternative resolutions.
Great.
Determine, decide, discover, learn, establish in a sentence. I am determined to be great at writing. He is very determined to complete the goal. Determination was key in achieving the outcome.
Awesome, great work. That's really good. Thank you so much for reading that to us. Your voice is very beautiful. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so I just want you all to take some notes. So decision making, when we're making a decision and we're making it, when we're choosing a choice. But look at this, it's the process of making choices by identifying or finding out. So remember, every time I have the dash in between the words, that's another word. So identifying also means finding out. So how do we identify something, you could say, or you could say, how can we find out something? That's another way that you could say it as well. So there are different ways that you can say the word identify. And we've got the word collecting. So when we're collecting something, another word you could use is gathering. We are gathering. We're gathering, collecting information. And the word determining. So determining means we really want to find out exactly what it is that we're looking for, the right decision. We're selecting, we're looking really closely. So that's why I've got the word there, assessing alternative resolutions. So determining also means assessing. So it's the same word. So you can choose either or word. You can write those words down, that's fine. Determining and assessing. I think we learned about assessing yesterday, how we were talking about the word assessing. That was a really, really great word that we could use in our writing as well. Can everyone hear me properly? Everyone can hear my voice? I've just got one student saying that they can't hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
We heard you.
Oh, thank you. There's a student in the group chat. She wrote me I'm not sure. They wrote a message and said, how can I hear your voice? Can someone write in there, unmute yourself on your phone, maybe he can figure it out. If someone can put a message in the chat to help this student. She wrote it to me, so you can't see the message. So just if you can let him know, I'll just pop it in there actually. Okay. All right, so we've got determine. So other words for determine, we've got decide, discover, learn, and establish. So when we're looking at the word establish, remember the word establish. Have you ever used the word establish before? It's such a great word to use when you're trying to discover and learn something. Very, very important. Okay, so that can help as well. And I've even put it in a couple of sentences here for you. He is very determined to complete the goal. Determination was key in achieving the outcome. Okay, so you've got those ones as well. I'll stay on this page just for one more minute. You can take notes if you'd like. I'll just stay on here for one more minute. But if you can write down the highlighted words, that'll be really, really great. And you can even shake your hands, like, because you're writing, move your head around because you've got to be thinking, and that can wake you up. Great. Okay, I'll move on to the next slide. So, how to make good decisions. This is a great slide. So how can we make good decisions? Look at this image on the bottom right-hand corner. What do you think this image is saying or showing, illustrating? Anyone want to have a guess? Like, what does this image or picture teach you or show you? You can just say it out loud to everyone, that's okay. Anyone want to have a give it a go? What you think? Mm-hmm.
It's illustrated the man is thinking about a good decision.
Perfect. That's exactly right. That's good. So he's trying to figure out, like, what decision to make, what choice he's got to make. And that's what this whole topic is about. It's about what choices you're going to make in your life, right? Your life decisions are so important, and you need to make sure that you're working hard to try and make the right one as well. Okay. So does anyone want to read the paragraph here on the left-hand side? Does anyone want to give it a go? Just unmute yourself and read it, please.
In English writing and reading, we have to decide if we think this is valuable enough to take seriously. Effective decision come from knowing how to make the right choices in deciding what is valuable and what is not valuable. Knowing what is valuable is based on the long-term benefits of what can help us achieve success. Awesome,
great. Really great, Bamita. Thank you so much. That was really, really read well. It's really nice hearing all your voices this morning. Really appreciate it. It's so nice. So yes, in English reading and writing, we have to decide if what we think is valuable to write about. So what do you think is valuable? Are you going to write just because you want to do the homework, or do you want to write with intention? Remember how I was teaching you about the other day, how can we write about something that is important versus writing about something just for the sake of writing? It's so important to make sure that you're making the right choice in what you're writing about when you're planning. So decision making is very similar. When you're writing a plan, you need to know exactly what you want to write about. And how do we know? We make a plan. We make a plan with our work so that we know exactly what we're doing and how we're going to achieve the goal. So look at this word effective. So effective decisions come from knowing how to make the right choices in deciding what is valuable. So what is valuable? So what has worth? So I'll just write that down. So what is something that, so valuable also means worth something, and not valuable means not worth it. So if you want to write those two words down as well, that'll be great in your workbooks. So valuable is worth something, not valuable is not worth something. It's not worth it. So like, oh, is it worth it to go, I don't know, to the other side of the island? It's like, no, it's not worth it. It's too risky. You know, that's how you could say, or is like, what's the outcome? Is it valuable enough for us to go and make a risk or take the risk? Sorry. So look at this sentence here. If you can write this sentence out in your workbook, knowing what is valuable is based on the long term. So what does the word long term mean? Long term is also like long time, like over time. So not just, you know, in the next week or so, but long term usually means more than a month, more than 3 months, more than a year. So long term. Okay, so you can write that word out as well. Just pop that there. And benefits of what can help us achieve. So the benefits, like the good things that come out of it, the results. So another word for benefits are, you know, good results. So we can write that word out as well. So benefits equals good results as well. So you can write that out, of what can help us achieve success. Because if you think about this, this image, imagine if that was you and you had 5 choices, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you had to make one. Which one would you choose? So that's what this paragraph is saying on the left-hand side. Effective decisions come from making the right choices by deciding what is valuable, what is worth it. You might need to write it down. You might need to think about it. You might need to go speak to someone in your community or village to get confirmation of your choices. You know, take it seriously. Like when you're making a life decision, a good decision is important to consider before making a wrong choice. And we've all made wrong choices before, you know. So that's why it's important to make sure that you try and you try and think about it a bit more better as well. Okay, great job, guys. We're nearly done. Okay, so this is a writing piece. It's actually quite challenging. Does anyone want to have a go at reading this that hasn't read before yet? Oh, I'll put it down. Yep, thank you. You can take notes whilst the student is reading as well.
Effective people do not make a great many decisions. They concentrate on what is important. They try to make a few important decisions on the highest level of conceptual and logical understanding. They try to find a constant in a situation, to think through what is strategic and generic rather than to solve problems. They are therefore not overly impressed by speed in decision making. Rather, they consider virtuosity or skill in manipulating a great many variables a symptom of sloppy thinking. They want to know what the decision is all about and what the underlying realities are, which it has to satisfy. They want impact rather than technique, and they want to be sound rather than clever.
Was that you, Joe, that read that?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. That was really great. I know how hard it is to read stuff like this. So this is university level reading, and I'm just so proud of you guys actually giving it a go. So what I'm going to share with you, bear with me, is some of the words here that I wrote down. So some of the words here, so conceptual. So what does the word conceptual mean? So conceptual also means logical. All right. So you can write the highlighted words down just for your learning. So conceptual also basically, so it's an adjective, and it basically means like your mental thoughts, like your understanding. Okay, so mental, like logical understanding, so conceptual. Let's see if I can come up with another word. So another word for conceptual I've got here is abstract, intellectual. So you could even say intellectual if you wanted to. But intellectual sounds very, it sounds very like, oh, you're very intellectual, like it's the smartest way of thinking. But conceptual just means mental thinking. It's just general thoughts that have logic for you to make a decision. It's not just, oh, let's have a chat and think about whatever. No, this is conceptual, like you're actually thinking with the utmost amount of logic. Okay, we all know what the word logic means. Oh, just let another student in.
Reasonable.
Yeah, great, reasonable. So logic also, reasonable, you can put that down. It also kind of means, yeah, I think reasonable is probably the best one. It's like reasoning, like what is your reason? So logic, reasoning. What is your reasoning behind your understanding? This is a lot of English in the morning. It's so early over here. But you guys are working really hard, and that's all that matters. So yeah, you just got to keep trying, you know. Okay. So I'll let you keep writing out some notes while we're waiting. Okay, perfect. That was good. So this article here is actually taken from Harvard University. It's a university over in America. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's like one of the best ones in the world, actually. And this was taken from a writing piece from there. And I just wanted to show you that, you know, you can, it's interesting to see how people define decision making. So I didn't write this. This is actually written by someone else, but it's just nice to see how decision making is not based on, you know, quick decisions. Rather, they want to solve the problem correctly. So that's really important to understand, like the fact that you want to solve the problem correctly rather than fast. Some people think, you know, they're not impressed. The word impressed here, look at this word, overly impressed. They're not overly impressed. Means they're not happy about it. So yeah, so not overly impressed means not happy. So they're not happy or excited about the speed, how fast you make a decision. Rather, see the word rather means rather, like, hey, look at it from this perspective, look at it from this side. Rather, they consider the skill. So in making a good decision. So that's really important, because sometimes people think, oh, making decisions, if you're fast, then you're smart. No, that's not the case. Okay, that's not true. You might need time. So you might even need to say to someone, hey, can I get back to you tomorrow? Even though it's today, I really need to make sure that I make the right choice. So that's okay. That's okay to do that. And you should, if you're really on a deadline, then obviously that's a different story. But, you know, if you have the opportunity to change the deadline for something, because you want to make the right choice, that's also important. We've all been given a time frame to make a choice. It's like, oh, by tomorrow, can you let me know? And then by tomorrow, so you literally need to spend the whole day thinking about what choices, what decision am I going to make? Okay, so what are the positives? What are the negatives? Let me just put one thing, 1 second. So I'm going to quickly show you something. So when I make a show tab some commands. Okay, so I'm just going to add something in. All right, so when I make a decision, like if I was to do how to plan good decision making. Okay, so let's just say that that's the heading, okay? So how to plan good decision making. So the first thing that I think about is okay, the background. Like background or current situation. What's the current situation? The current situation is, this is what I'm doing. This is what I could be doing. Currently, this is what's happening. Like, you have to be honest in the current situation. So what's your current situation before you commit to the decision? Okay. And then, and then what is your objective? So objective means like the next thing you need to think about. Let's put some numbers on this. So we've got a background and we've got objective. So objective means like your goal. What is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is I want to, whatever you want to do. So you got to think about your ultimate goal in your life. Like, what do you want to achieve? Like, is this going to help you achieve a goal? Is this going to help you get ahead in life? Like, what is it really going to do? Is there any goal involved? Or are you just thinking about something in your mind thinking, oh, this could happen, but is it going to happen? Like, we're just not sure, right? So that's another thing to consider. So objective and your ultimate goal. And then the next one is you need to do kind of like what I like to call, you need to analyze. So analyze, remember the word analyze that we've learned. So analyze is also assess, and think about. So you need to think about, your options. So when you do your options, you probably need to do something like this. So you might have, I'm just doing this real quick. So you might have, your positives, and then you might have the negatives of decision making. So then what you would do is you would actually, I'm just going to change that color because it's not that pretty. Oh no, actually it's all right. So I'll just draw another square. So then you would list down all the positives about making the choice and the impact. Okay, and then you'd list down all the negatives. So you'd think, okay, what's the current situation? What's the goal? Who will benefit? Will the community benefit from this decision? Will you benefit from the decision? Will your family benefit it? And then you need to think about the options. So you need to come up with positives and negatives. Okay, and then the next one, the next decision this is what I would do when I'm thinking about making a decision. So, I would say collect information, evidence. So collect information might be, you might interview someone who has experience. You might speak to the elders, like, I don't know if you guys speak to the people who are wise in your community. So sometimes you might want to find someone who is really wise, who has experience, who's had international experience, something like that. So speak to someone who is wise, and has similar experiences, because they will be up, and that's you collecting information to see what the benefits are. Like, hey, have you ever been in a situation like this? I need to make a decision and it's due tomorrow, but I'm not sure if I need to do it. Like, imagine if the decision was you needed to sell your home, you wanted to sell your land. That's going to happen in the future. Like, these decisions are going to occur later on in your life, and you need to be ready for it. And it's not easy decisions, or I need to take out a loan. I need to take out a $10,000 loan for my school or business or something. So you need to think about what's the current situation, what are your goals, what's the positives and negatives, and you're collecting information. You might spend, a couple of hours with different people on the phone, but just remember your focus. Remember, what is your goal? You can't just, go and do something in the afternoon and go have fun. You're probably going to need to use your time properly to make sure you're writing the right decisions. And then I also like to think of, like, the journey, like the roadmap. So step-by-step map, a step-by-step process of what you think can happen. So this is you, what do you call it? So this would be, number 5 would be you planning out each step. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to add this in here. Okay. So, like, for example, like, imagine if this was, your steps. So step 1, what do you think you need first? What do you need second? What do you need third to get to the goal? So the goal would be the last one, and this would be your start. And then you need to write little things about what you think you need to do to get there. What are the big things that need to happen? Okay, just high level, and then you could brainstorm that. So this is like a roadmap planning stage. Like, you need to have a plan to see if your decision is actually going to work. And you do all of this before you even commit to the decision. And you wouldn't do this for every single decision in your life. You do this for the really important ones, the ones where you're stressing out, you're crying over, that kind of thing. That's the type of decision planning making process that you could do to support it. Okay, and then you could even put in, you could put in the cost. Like, what is the cost and how much you have and how much it's going to cost and where you're going to get that money from. Just say, for example, the decision involved money. Okay. And also resources such as people, places, and material. Like, resources could also be like people, like you actually need 2 people to help you achieve this goal. You might say, I just need my parents to help me. That's what I need. This is the cost. these are the places that I need to go, and these are the materials that I need. Like, for example, when I went to university, I needed a car because my university was like an hour and a half away. Oh, sorry, and it was 1 hour from my house, 1 hour driving. So it was like 80 kilometers. It's very far. And I didn't have a car, so I had to save up and buy a car. I think my first car I bought it with my pay. I saved it up and I bought my first car. So that was a material that I needed to get there. And also books and like computer, like all of those things cost money, right? So you just need to plan it. So even though you're not in uni, like, I'm just using that as an example, but there could be other decisions. You probably want to start your own business, probably want to start your own company, you probably want to start something that's never happened before. You're allowed to think like this, and you can start planning it out now. How much is it going to cost me? Where am I going to get that money if I'm working, if I'm studying? So this is the process of what you would go through when you're making a really hardcore decision. Okay, 7. And then you could even just, and then I guess the last one would be, so then the last one will be final outcome. Like, what are you going to get? Like, and you could list down all the things that you're going to get if you achieve all of these steps. Okay. So that's the plan for how to make good decision making. If you ever need to know that, that's a really good way in doing it all. Like, imagine if you want to buy a place, if you want to buy a house when you grow up, if you want to take over a business that your family has started, if you want to work with your family member, you need it. Like, these are big choices, especially for those who are going to finish high school this year. What's your plan after high school? Or what's your plan? Like, if you finished high school last year, what's your plan this year? What are you doing? You can plan it while you're in lockdown. You can think about these things. You can really think about it. And remember what we learned in the lesson. I'll just go back to this page. You need to think with logical reasoning. Like, when you make a decision, you need to think properly. You can't just rush it. It's not about being fast. Maybe this plan is going to take you a month or so to come up with. But even just collecting information, you need to collect information from people, interview people, read about it, read from experts, all of that. That's all included as well. Okay, I'll just give you homework and then we'll finish. So what I want you to do for homework is I want you to create your own 12-step, your own 12-step process in how to achieve a goal. So you could choose a topic that is your goal, and then you could use colors and rulers or whatever you have on a piece of paper or A4 poster, or even just your book. That's fine. And then you could do each step by step. So if you've got the ultimate goal as the last step, it doesn't have to be 12 steps. It can be 5 to 12. Let's say 5 to 12. So you can create 5 to 10 steps of what you need to do now in order to get to the last goal. So I had a student last night that I taught, and he was saying that his goal was he wants to be a builder. That was his goal, and he's only he was really excited about it. So he wants to be a builder in construction. Okay, so he actually wants to design houses and all of this stuff. And I said, okay, so if that's your end goal, that's the last step, you have to plan out each step how you're going to get there. So that's what I want you to do for homework. If you can do that today and send it through, that'll be good. All right, how's everyone feeling? That's the class. English class done. Sorry about that. How's everyone feeling good? So yes. If I haven't got your email address, can you send it through? I'm going to send yesterday's work and today's work. I'm so sorry about missing yesterday. I was so busy with work yesterday and I was thinking of you all. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, please come on. I think the last class is Friday. Yeah, Friday for me. So we've got tomorrow, so we've got Thursday, Friday, so 2 more days. So let's make the most of it. but I will send you yesterday's homework and yet today's slides. I'll send you this whole PowerPoint. Okay, if I haven't got your email address, put it in the group chat. Otherwise, does anyone have anything that they want to share with the class? Any encouragements or last words? Just quickly stop share. Thank you, everyone.